Well, it's a brand new year, ladies and gentlemen, and with the start of 2011, might as well do this standard slasher film that just so happens to take place on New Year's Eve. There really is no other reason why I'm doing this movie. It's just timely and all. There are horror movies to go along with every fucking holiday, aren't there? Well, except maybe Arbor Day. But there is this!
Arbor Day, huh?
I knew I forgot to put that one in the Silent Night, Deadly Night 2 video.
Oh, thank God, we're in safe hands here with MGM. It's not like they gave us Troll. New Year's Evil centers around a punk rock program called Hollywood Hotline, hosted by a music and television personality named Diane Sullivan, seen here before the show getting frostbite painted onto her face. We immediately know that the night is off to a horrific start when her assistant, who appears to be Crockett, Tubbs, and Kim Wayans, all rolled into one, gets stalked by unseen slasher McKiller. Well, now there's her problem. She put the Do Not Disturb sign on the wrong side of the door. Oh, is this how he's attacking her? By using the same drippy faucet method that made Donald Duck go insane? Unfortunately, though, the assistant doesn't make it long enough to see 1981.
It's okay, though. In hell, I'm sure they'll hold plenty of screenings of 1981's Caveman.
It's nice of the opening credit sequence from Vice Squad to have a cameo, though. Holy shit, if this driver makes it up to about 30 miles an hour, we can lose half of the cast in the blink of an eye. Diane continues to get ready for the big show when she's suddenly visited by her son, who is also an actor.
I got some good news.
Oh, that's nice, honey.
Got a part in a new series.
Yeah, you should listen up, Mom. He just scored the lead role in Hard Bodies.
As for Diane's show, though, you can really throw together quite a shindig when you get set decorating ideas from Shock Treatment. Good lord, in the 80s even vaginas were made of vinyl. The point of Hollywood Hotline seems to be for callers to proclaim their favorite songs of the year.
This is Claire. My vote for the best song is We Don't Need No Education.
But since we don't have the rights to use that song, we're not gonna play it. Or mention it by its actual song title.
The severed vibes of this party, though, are quickly thrown into CBGB's gutter when Diane gets a call from the movie's killer.
I'm going to commit murder.
Well, that's not the killer. It's just one of the actors trying to choke himself to death.
Do you have a vote for the top song of the year?
No.
Just say Funky Town. It's what everyone else is gonna say.
Now that the killer is done giving the worst Grover impression ever, the party must resume.
Punk sucks! This is stupid.
The people in the audience seem to be having a good time, and you can tell by the anti-choreographed dance moves.
Nah, punk rock dancing. As smooth as a shiatsu massage.
We at least know that one group of people is getting a kick out of the broadcast, the mentally ill. Yeah, I'm not sure if this movie is the best commercial for punk rock. The crazies love it. It's here, though, that we get our first good look at the killer.
Whoa, spoiler alert movie. It's only 14 minutes in and I've just seen what the killer looks like.
The killer dresses up like one of the doctors and manages to hit on a 23-year-old nurse who's totally not really 35.
May I have this dance?
You don't waste much time, do you?
No.
In fact, I gave you pure absinthe. We'll be doing the nasty in about 10 seconds. Back at Hollywood Hotline, and what? She called the cops?
Okay, take away from the fact that, yes, the caller is the killer. You called the cops after one weird phone call during a punk rock show? What did you expect?
Boy, are they gonna be embarrassed when they find out he was only calling to get the Silver Shamrock commercials off the air. Well, what else is going on in the broadcast? Ah yes, punk shows, notorious for that sweet blues riff. I guess the audience needed a break from their simulated seizure. Shit, I can't tell if this is part of the movie or if the cameraman is getting raped. The killer does away with the nurse, who is later discovered by one of her co-workers. No, you don't want to go in there. That's where they're shooting Halloween 2. But this guy isn't the only one going crazy in the movie. Look at Diane's son. I don't know what he's upset about. After Hard Bodies does well at the box office, he'll move right into starring in Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Now what do you think?
Oh, I get what's going on. He's just trying to out-crazy Diane Ladd in Wild at Heart.
As it turns out, the plan of the killer is to murder a different person once midnight strikes in each time zone. Why? To get members of Asian Dawn released? I have no idea. But at least he's gotten a bitchin' Johnny Wad costume out of it.
I got this business thing I have to attend. There's a big party up at Eric Estrada's place.
Yeah, but that party's supposed to be kind of a downer. Lots of tears, lots of booze, lots of tears.
So the killer, who is now thug number 1 from Miami Vice, picks up a couple of random girls, and sure enough...
Now.
Well, at least it was nice of her to help him put the plastic over her head. Luckily, though, he managed to book it before the cops showed up, and almost ran over the camera crew.
Yeah, brilliant job rigging the body to slide down once the purse is removed. He was going to use a giant boulder, but that'd just be ridiculous.
In case we get a little too lost following the movie, thank God we have the police here.
If he stays on this schedule, he should be stalking his 11 o'clock victim about now.
Thanks, Officer Plot.
He's got precious little time to spare, though, with getting a priest costume and getting annoyed by the Hell's Bloody Devils. Well, that's not good. Just give him some KFC, then they'll go away. What's he driving away for? For shit's sake, you're in a car. Just run them over. This is like seeing a bowling ball being chased by pins. He manages to elude the bikers just long enough to hide out in a drive-in.
Finally, after nearly 4 years of doing this show, New Year's Evil gets it right. It's a bad movie where the movie shown within the movie is a worse movie.
Not that things aren't any better at the New Year's Eve bash. Christ, even the punk rockers are getting bored. Well, that's because they don't have Diane's son to do weird things for no reason.
Because he has a compulsion to kill on the hour. It's a sequential drama.
The fuck was that?
After the hotel is sealed off, the killer manages to sneak in by knocking out a cop and fixing his comb over. Could Diane be the final victim of this New Year's Eve kind of massacre?
Oh, Richard, you scared me.
That does not surprise me in the least.
No, really, it doesn't. Her husband is asked about earlier in the movie, and while the son goes all Crispin Glover Letterman, he mentions that the craziness is in his genes. Plus, the killer is credited with Diane's last name on IMDb.
If they wanted to make it any more obvious, they would have had the character wearing a shirt that reads #1 Dad and #1 Husband of the main characters in this movie.
Needless to say, he still intends on Diane being the final victim of the night, so he goes all jelly side down on the hotel elevator, knocking out her and the cop, so he has Diane all to himself.
That's right. I'm evil.
Okay, I kinda like that. Finally, a slasher movie killer who is aware that he's kind of a dick.
He chains Diane to the elevator and gives her the MGM Studios ride of her life. Still, not as bad as Ike and Tina's marriage. Once the cops stumble upon this comedy crime scene, the killer is chased to the rooftop and, oh yes, put the mask back on. Now they'll never know who he is. This is the first slasher movie where the rules of the killer's mask are played out backwards. Just jump already.
I hope that's not a hostage.
Yeah, and we have to show one more sequence of the son acting crazy. Otherwise, that whole subplot would be completely pointless.
A sequel that never got made.
I will say this about the movie. Unlike Home Sweet Home, at least this is a movie that took advantage of the fact that it takes place on a holiday. Fucking Home Sweet Home never even mentioned the word Thanksgiving.
But you know, it's just a slasher film. Kinda tame compared to the other shit I've done. No singing zombies in this one, or Sasquatch junk. It's sad when a punk rock slasher film featuring a guy in an Ed Sullivan / Nixon mask is normal to me.
Miracle of modern technology.